Hello, my name is James Van Westen. I'm a recent Master of Architecture graduate from South Dakota State University and currently work as an architectural designer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Today, I'm going to be sharing an independent studio project that began during the fall semester of 2023 and has since evolved into something a bit bigger, blossomed into an ongoing research endeavor that I'm still actively developing with the guidance of Dr. Nesrine Mansour. And this research aims to explore the intersection of literature and architecture, leveraging emerging technologies and tools to synthesize and expand this creative process. Now, this work was also presented at the 2024 ACSF Symposium in Istanbul, Turkey, which took place from June 5th to June 9th. The research I'll be discussing is titled Transcending Temporality, Architectural Reimagining of the Divine Comedy for Modern Experience. Literature often serves as a gateway to imaginary realms, offering escapism through tales of journeys, conflicts, and triumphs. It also prompts deeper introspection and the pursuit of architecture, provoking meditation on the human condition and transcendent experience. Though architecture and literature are not commonly linked today, they can provide compelling narratives fostering self-reflection, transcendence, and spiritual awakening. Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy epitomizes such a narrative, exploring the human soul through emotional and sensory stimuli, creating an immersive pilgrimage. The Divine Comedy is divided into three parts: Inferno, a hellish landscape of torment; Purgatorio, a climb of redemptive spirit; and Paradiso, a celestial journey of ultimate transcendence. Now, this poem serves as a narrative foundation for this architectural study, aiming to crystallize Dante's spiritual quest through spatial form, sequential progression, and atmospheric elements to evoke profound spiritual responses. Noel Giuseppe Taragni translated the Divine Comedy into an architectural experience in the 1930s with his theoretical project Danteum, a monument in Rome dedicated to Dante. This research takes a contemporary approach by reinterpreting the literary masterpiece through the lens of modern technologies and experiential architectural methodologies. Unlike the original concept, which was grounded in the rationalistic architecture of the 20th century, this project employs emerging technologies and speculative architectural processes, providing a greater range of opportunities for exploration and interpretation. By integrating tools such as artificial intelligence, mixed media, architectural drawings, and both physical and digital modeling, this research aims to create multifaceted representations that capture the complex layers and themes of Dante's work. The interplay between these various media results in diverse interpretations and unique architectural explorations and expressions of the poem, each evoking different aspects of the journey through Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. This approach not only honors Taragni's initial vision, but also expands it, inviting visitors to experience the Divine Comedy in a way that challenges conventional perceptions and pushes the boundaries of architectural exploration and storytelling. The study began with a meticulous analysis of the Divine Comedy, using matrices to decode its complex literary, psychoanalytical, and narrative structures. And by examining the poem's psychoanalytical aspects, an emotional and spiritual narrative emerge, depicting the battle between flesh, self, and spirit, a journey from transcendence or desperation to transcendence. While rooted in Christian theology, the poem's allegorical richness represents a universal struggle or pilgrimage. Exploring the narrative and literary structure was also crucial for providing preliminary insights into the architectural translation. Without a proposed site, the structural qualities of the poem were dissected and mapped to establish parameters. The Divine Comedy is divided into three canticles or portions: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, each split into cantos totaling 100. These attributes help define the parameters for this architectural translation. Now, while building parameters for the translation was important, a phenomenological approach was crucial to create a visceral architectural experience that mirrored the poem's narrative. Phenomenology in architecture emphasizes the experiential aspects of spaces, engaging all of the senses: sight, taste, sound, and touch. Johanni Palaima, a prominent theorist, states, architecture is the art of reconciliation between ourselves and the world, and this meditation takes place between or through the senses. To explore phenomenology, an emphasis was placed on the sensorial qualities of the poem's segments, Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. The goal was to evoke emotional responses, potentially inducing transcendental experiences through these sensory elements. Instead of using direct lines from the poem, sensorial qualities reflecting each canticle's narrative were mapped, portraying a well-rounded phenomenological rendering of the Divine Comedy. This diagram was integral, guiding how these architectural translations could create visceral connections between the poem's narrative and journey. For example, in Inferno, smoke is depicted not only visually, but also through taste and smell, with hints of tactile heat. The diagram also dissected the spiritual and emotional qualities of the poem in each segment, aiming to connect these to the sensorial qualities for a comprehensive phenomenological study. To gain a better understanding of how these sensorial qualities within the literature could visually be represented through architectural form, these sensory traits were used as textual prompts within the artificial intelligence diffusion model, Midjourney AI. This generative text-to-picture artificial intelligence tool helped guide the architectural translation in the preliminary design stages. These images were also then modified using Runway AI, another generative artificial intelligence model that gives motion to the previously generated images, portraying far more visceral investigations of these textual prompts that were built from the multisensory elements of the poem. This process aided in relaying impressionistic interpretations of how such phenomenological qualities could ground themselves within a visceral architectural experience. Although a starting point for the architectural experience was established, questions still remained about the overall process. For this, speculative architectural drawing became a tool for exploration and ideation, using various tools and technologies to achieve these translations. Speculative architectural drawings are conceptual illustrations inhabiting imaginative or theoretical worlds, blurring the lines between art and architecture. These drawings go far beyond conventional floor plans, exploring interpretive potentiality and inviting dialogue about design representations. This freedom fosters in-depth conversations about architectural elements and experiential understanding. Perry Cooper and Zaha Hadid, renowned architects who have used this technique, highlight the interpretive freedom within the design process. Perry Cooper states, I was always wondering how I could account for things that couldn't be metrically or instrumentally visualized, and was moving from my own more dominant formal predilections in design to relational thinking and how to structure various interests in spatial settings. Zaha Hadid used these techniques in her paintings, inspiring her deconstructivist styles, and states, I was very fascinated by abstraction and how it could really lead to abstracting plans, moving away from certain dogmas about what architecture really is. But before beginning these speculative architectural drawings, it was still crucial that some of the parameters and notational devices could be established to help initiate thoughtful architectural translations. The framework for this speculative drawings originated through thoughtful depictions of architectural and literary themes with primary notation systems. Although these notational devices didn't directly address the sensorial aspects of the drawings, they still significantly advanced the overall configuration and suggested intriguing, ambiguous architectural form. Once the notational systems were implemented, the overall composition of the drawings began to take shape. Speculative Drawing 1 charts the structural organization, sequence, and rhythmic qualities of the Divine Comedy. This drawing was crucial for creating a blueprint for the phenomenological experience and establishing a starting point for spatial ambiguities. Speculative Drawing 2 explored how possible forms, materials, textures could emerge within these spaces. The regulating lines from the previous drawing guided the formation of these elements, influencing the movement and directionality of the architectural experience. In both drawings, the three canticles, Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, merge into a singular narrative, with only brief notational devices separating them. While hand-drawing techniques were crucial in the preliminary stages, exploring these properties with various techniques and tools was also very helpful. Some hand-drawing forms were briefly modeled digitally to uncover more spatial, material, and lighting properties. These illustrations were then overlaid using both digital and hand-drawing methods to explore the physical properties of the forms and spaces. These exercises were then collaged into larger speculative drawing, blending digital and hand-drawing methods with AI-generated imagery from Midjourney AI. This drawing represents a culmination of mixed media interpretations, illustrating a speculative architectural drawing with shifting perspectives, ambiguous spatial integrities, and lighting characteristics crucial for the next stages of the process. Now, as the study progressed, the drawings transitioned into a more digital format, which allowed for a refined articulation of spatial features. Attributes such as lighting, materiality, form, and sequential characteristics were also then refined, further articulating the overall narrative and essence of the Divine Comedy. These advanced architectural digital explorations, while remaining within the virtual sphere, still paved the way for the conceptualization of a digital architectural and spiritual spatial experience. Here we see a depiction of Inferno. This drawing uses fragmented notational systems to find some organization amongst the shifting perspectives and distorted architectural elements and bodily forms. These elements converge almost seamlessly to capture the sensorial depictions of smoke, fire, whipping wind, and twisted branches. Textures within this maze are often rough and sharp, relaying a sense of tactile apprehension. A sense of movement sweeps any inhabitants within its disorienting swell of notation and form, assaulting the senses. Shifting between various perspectives, this illustration of Purgatorio carries forward the regulated rhythm of the poem, taking the form of translucent line work that mimics the cleansing winds of Purgatorio. While the repetitive forms and notations blur to build a sense of disorientation, an illuminated force centers the journey, serving as a spiritual guide throughout the ascending climb towards ultimate transcendence, or Paradiso. Paradiso depicts the transcendent qualities of the heavenly cosmic realm Dante traverses. Golden light engulfs the inferred spaces and presents radiant warmth to its visitors. A central luminous body anchors both perspectives within the shrine, also making an appearance within Inferno and Purgatorio's depictions. While this interpretation within the source material signifies the Judeo-Christian God, a personal reflection may find other allegorical renderings, such as self, spirit, or transcendence. Regardless of this interpretation, a centralized character takes stage, allowing guidance throughout the architectural experience and influencing the composition of the spaces and forms. This can be depicted in the cosmic perspective illustration below. A centralized light guides the overall structure of Dante into Inferno and Purgatorio spaces. Moving forward, comprehensive assessments of the phenomenological attributes of the project will be conducted through immersive virtual reality experimentation. And by visualizing the speculative architectural environment, we aim to create an immersive experience that allows us to explore the sensorial and emotional dimensions described within Dante's source material. This immersive platform provides a unique opportunity to test how effectively the architectural translations evoke the interpreted and intended atmosphere and narrative journey depicted in the Divine Comedy. With the capabilities of virtual reality, we can meticulously recreate and simulate the complex environments that Dante imagined, allowing the contemporary audience to engage deeply with the visual, auditory, and spatial qualities of each realm. Virtual reality technology also offers us unprecedented potential to communicate within these phenomenological aspects to a broader audience, breaking beyond the limitations of physical architecture. And by providing accessibility to an immersive experience, individuals can step directly into the imagined landscapes of the Divine Comedy, from the harrowing depths of Inferno to the ascended ethereal heights of Paradiso. This experiential immersion allows participants to question and interpret the design intentions and ultimately evaluate whether these architectural translations succeed in embodying the spiritual transformation and emotional resonance of Dante's original literary masterpiece. This next clip is a brief depiction of the guided virtual reality experience that we plan to advance, showcasing how these environments evolve dynamically within the user's presence and perspective. Through this evolving and interpretive approach, we aim to bring the Divine Comedy to life in a new medium, creating the enriched and multisensory encounter that blurs the lines between literature and architecture, ultimately transforming how we perceive and connect with Dante's profound journey. Throughout this production and research, the work was continuously curated on our website, and this website divides the overall process into 4 specific phases. Phase 1, looking at the matrixing and research that helped guide the overall process within the preliminary stages. Phase 2, looking at the notational systems and initial speculative drawings that helped initiate further developments. Phase 3 looked at the final 3 speculative drawings and the images compiled to create them. And phase 4 aims to eventually depict the virtual reality experience and the final results from this exploration and testing. If you're interested in following this research forward or further, you can scan the QR code to the right of the screen. The aim is to continuously update this website with our research as we continue further. I would like to conclude by thanking Dr. Nesrine Mansour for her continued assistance throughout this process and for the ACSF team for their support and for the opportunity to present this work. Thank you.